Hi there, I'm here with Stephen Bonner of KPMG, Partner in Information Protection. And I'd like to start today, Stephen, by asking you what your expectations and objectives are for the show.
Well, it's always a great opportunity to catch up with everybody in the industry. It's bigger than ever, very exciting, lots of great people here. That's what we're looking for, is just saying hello to all the familiar faces and meet the new people.
Absolutely, and we're still only at lunchtime on day one, but what are you hearing at the moment that people are talking about on the stands? What are the messages that are being reflected?
Well, we're seeing quite a lot of interest from clients in the emerging threat from hacktivists, Anonymous and lulzsec. So a lot of interest in tools that help defend against those kind of attacks that weren't that popular a few years ago. So denial of service protection, WAFs to protect their websites from being defaced, and secure coding to protect their infrastructure. That seems to be a lot of the focus we're seeing at the moment.
Which is a reflection really of what's going on in the industry at the moment, would you say?
I think so, yes. There's a lot of interest in that topic because it's really, many of the attacks we get are hidden. The organised crime are trying to cover their tracks, but these hacktivist groups are trying to make as much noise as possible, so it's made it very visible and put it very clearly on the board agenda in many of these organisations.
So looking back at the show from 2011 and what was hot back then and what was being talked about, how much of that is still a hot topic today and how much of it has perhaps moved out of the limelight or been addressed or, dare I say, solved?
I think we're probably not quite there on solving anything. We're seeing massive growth across all areas of the business. I think there's been a lot of interest in the topics that were hot last year. Consumerization, cloud, cyber attacks. These are topics that were sort of at the beginning of being addressed last year, continuing to be hot on everyone's radar at the moment.
What about what you're expecting from the threat landscape at the end of this year, perhaps even moving into the show this time next year?
I think we're seeing a lot more maturity. So a year ago, 2 years ago, these problems weren't at the senior level. Then they sort of, last year, they got on that agenda and lots of money was spent on these issues. I think now we're growing up a little bit as an industry and looking at how we get the best value from the money rather than just investing. So I think that's driving what the future's going to hold. We're also seeing a lot of regulatory interest. So new privacy laws, new privacy regulations coming through, really driving changes in behaviour for organisations to help them not only do a good job, but demonstrate to their customers they're doing a good job, to add real business value. So we stop being just an annoying layer of cost and inconvenience and start being something that really enables the business.
And as an industry, I mean, it's often more apparent what we're doing wrong than what we're doing right. But what are we doing right? Are we winning? What are the good things we're doing at the moment?
Yeah. Well, a lot of my focus is on financial services within my organisation, and there we're seeing really good steps forward. The losses on online fraud are going down year on year, which is a story you don't hear a lot about in a press dominated by all the terrible things that are happening. When we win, no one knows, but I think we really are getting better. Sadly, that means some of the organised criminals are moving to other industry sectors, but it does mean it's possible to win in this space. You can do a good job. You might not get recognised for it always, but there are pragmatic and simple, cost-effective things people can do that make a difference.
And finally, what could we be doing better?
I think the big challenge at the moment, and we're seeing it through our growth, is finding good people. There's a real shortage of real experts. So we're spending a lot of time training people up and growing the industry. We encourage others to do that because this is not a problem that's going to go away in the short term. So we all need to get better at bringing people into the career and training them to do really good jobs.
Why is there a shortage? It's an appealing career. It's a very fast-growing industry. Why do you think that is?
I think it's had years ago, it wasn't that interesting or hot, so we haven't built the kind of pipeline of talented individuals who want to get into it, and that's finally starting now. So I think it'll get better, but just the sheer volume and pace of the growth means that demand is outstripping supply at the moment, and that makes it difficult for organisations to get really good people to help them solve their problems.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you.